So what are some tips for finding your first executive coaching client? And it says executive coaching specifically.
Raj, go for it. I feel like this is you 100%. I have ideas, work, but I mean, this is your specialty.
Well, okay. So I have a few things I'm going to share. I mean, I don't want to make the assumption, but I am making the assumption that if you have gone into executive coaching, then perhaps you have some kind of connection or interest or even a background in leadership or the corporate world or business. Or I know I've worked with realtors, for example, who want to do executive coaching, or business schools, that kind of thing. So I've said this many, many times before. Even as you are getting prepared to transition, make sure that you are starting to have those conversations. Make sure that you are leveraging those connections and you are connecting with people that you could pick up the phone to.
Mm-hmm.
And those people are HR leads, organizational development leads, employee resource groups, diversity and inclusion leads. I mean, it's all kinds of businesses out there. You know, you could work in the education field, you could contact business schools. Business schools have lots of coaching departments and looking for coaching all the time. The other thing is, we hear a lot about social media, and I've shared that I came off social media a few years back. Yeah, I am on LinkedIn. And if you are specifically focused on executive coaching, you've got to go where your people are at, haven't you? And that's where they're at. They are on LinkedIn. So where are the leaders at? What groups might you want to join or be in? And if you're looking for your first executive coaching client, it might be being brave and putting a post on there on LinkedIn and saying, hey, I've just come out of this course, or I've just come out of this program. It might be that you do it complimentary to start off with. It might be that you do it at a discounted rate, but that's where your people are at, and putting it out there on LinkedIn, I would say, is a good place. Also, tell your connections. So you're bound to have some friends that are going to be in the business world, aren't you? You're bound to have friends or a spouse, or somebody who is in some kind of manager role, leader role, corporate role, business space. So you've got to be courageous and say, I am an executive coach, I'm doing this executive coaching. So you've got to put that word out. Another thing I would say, attend leadership events, because that's where your people are. So what conferences are happening, what leadership events are happening, and whether it's, I mean, in person, even better, because that's where I started going to things in person and collecting cards and collecting connections. And I just came back from India, and I connected with the hotel that I stayed at, and I connected with the
Mm-hmm.
woman leader that was there, and what leadership work is happening. And we just happened to get into a conversation, and we flew on an airline called Indigo, and all the women wore badges that said girl power. So I made
Mm-hmm.
it my business to connect with key
That's right.
people of that business as soon as didn't even wait till I got back, actually. What are your thoughts to that, John?
All of those things. Yes. Yes. I mean, I think so. The underlying, like what I'm hearing, like, so the keys, like main takeaways. One is if you have a passion for something that's beyond executive coaching, that's useful. It's not just I want to coach people so that I can build my executive coaching practice. People feel that. They feel like you're connecting with them for the sake of the coach to build their practice rather than for the sake of the coach to help give gifts to humanity. So if you think about, okay, so what's the larger thing that you're up? Like what's the larger that thing that you're up to? I know Raj is up to empowering women in executive positions. So if there is someone in my mind, I meet, an executive who I think, yes, this is someone who I think, could benefit from Raj. That's what you like. That's the degree of clarity you want to have in your network. And so you need to have something larger than just, okay, I'm an executive coach. If you want to successfully market this and then help your network help you, which leads to the second thing, which is it's all about networking. It's all about using whatever context you already have, and saying, hey, this is the specialty, this is what I do, this is what I can offer. Like that's the good stuff. Networking is the good stuff. Once you have that, and then it's the pattern I've seen, and it was true for me too, is you start working with one or two executives, usually through a connection. For me, it was the parents of the students I was working with. They were in executive stuff. I was doing Arbinger, Arbinger Institute material. And they said, "Hey, we're looking at bringing in an Arbinger person. Let's bring you in now and see what happens." And that was the start. And then I also got hired from an agency to do executive coaching. So that's the other way to go too. Is sometimes these agencies, like you said, HR, they might have initiatives to look and find executive coaches. So we're having the ICF credentials really important. But your very first executive coaching client is most likely going to come from a referral. And you treat that referral like the very best you can treat them. Ask them, network. And like you said, just, if you have something especially that you can do that's beyond just building your practice, but a focal point, that makes all the difference.
Yeah. We're on time already.
I know. And I have someone coming at noon Pacific here, help with a couple of these projects. We have new box designs, and I don't know, sending books out all these different places has been interesting. But yeah, so there's so many things happening. Any new coach, I would just encourage you, like really, truly, like it comes down to figuring out like the very specific person. There he is. The very specific person who the specialty you work with, so you can make it easy for other people to talk about you. That's the key. And yeah, we'll stop there. It's enough. We have
Thanks,
to run.
John.